Hey guys, welcome back to another session of the Syntonic podcast, video podcast. Today we're gonna get right into it, just with some news. Something that was really big in the news this past week. Firebase and Fabric joined forces.
So Google is gonna acquire Fabric. It's pretty big news. We use Firebase. I've used a couple of Fabric services in the past, so.
Fabric will still remain with a few of their services, but I'm assuming that they'll switch over to Firebase.
Yeah, I don't know what the transition is going to look like, but we're going to give you guys a bit of an overview of both Firebase and Fabric if you haven't used them or didn't know about them. They're both really, really cool platforms. So
first off, easy to use.
Yeah, it's super easy to use. So first off, we're going to talk a little bit about Firebase. So, I don't know, Firebase is basically Google's new app platform, and it's got a bunch of different services. The big one that we use is the real-time database functionality and notifications as well. So you can see their different services here. They've got database built in, so you can basically, whether you have like a Node server or Android or iOS apps, you can communicate with a database in real time and just pass data back and forth. They've also got support for like user authentication, cloud messaging with GCM.
The dynamic links is really cool.
Yeah, so you can like link to something in your app, and they have a thing where the links are like, I forget what they refer to them as, but they're like strong, they're durable links or something like that, where if somebody doesn't have your app installed but they go to a link in your app, it'll go to the Play Store, install the app, and then redirect them to whatever content that was linking to. So that's a really, really cool feature. They've got support for notifications. That's a good one.
And they have crash reporting,
which also Fabric has with Crashlytics.
I think Crashlytics was a bit better.
Theirs is better.
But I'm just gonna assume that Firebase will just take Crashlytics and replace that,
or somehow merge whatever functionality they have.
Yeah.
And they've also got stuff for like storing images or different files on Firebase. You can see like remote config options, just, I don't know, different like promotions or something you might have in an app. Invites, so like sharing your friends. And then they also have support for like AdMob in our app, which we're going to give a demo of later. You can see test ads running. So then we're going to go over to Fabric. And Fabric is pretty cool. It's basically a suite of different kind of tools that you can use. So they've got Crashlytics, which is a big one. You can see a list of all the stuff they have.
Fastlane built in. I didn't see that. That's for taking screenshots for apps automatically and uploading them.
Yeah, Crashlytics, crash reporting. Answers is another one I've used personally, and basically you can set off like events in your app and then have the Answers module kind of tell you how many times your users have done like X actions.
Does Firebase have any of that?
I don't think so.
I think they might just have use for like how many people log in. That might be the only analytics they show.
Yeah, there is some sort of analytics. I haven't used much of the Firebase analytics though. They've also got digits, which is pretty cool. Let's see if we can go to the site. And basically it's a way to like verify users with their phone number, and it's like all built into one SDK.
And most of this Fabric stuff is just free.
Yeah.
At least to a certain extent.
Some of them do have like paid things with different features or stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty cool. They've got a ton of different stuff. Stripe's built in. Really easy way to integrate payments to a mobile app. A bunch of different stuff. So I think this is pretty good news. Firebase is a cool platform, but I felt like it was a bit lacking in features as of now. So this will be pretty neat.
It'll be a really big,
really massive, just Google giant platform. Yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Okay, guys, so the next thing we're going to be taking a look at here is AWS Lambda. Some of you might have heard of it. It's been around since 2014. Really took off about a year and a half ago, I'd say. It's one of the new Amazon services, and it's a step towards serverless computing. So basically what you do is you write back-end code, and then anytime, somebody does something, somebody actuates some trigger, whether it's through a stream or DynamoDB, or somebody updates something to an S3 bucket, It just basically executes your back-end code. The way they do billing for AWS Lambda, they look at the number of times that the trigger was called. They look at how many milliseconds it ran for and how much memory you allocated to it. So it's a conglomerate of those three things. And we're going to go and do a demo for it now.
Yeah, so first up, we're going to create a new S3 bucket. So we're just going to say Syntonic Lambda test bucket. Alright, that should be fine. Now we're going to go to Lambda, create a new function. Let's see. What? How do I make a new thing? Here we go. Let's do S3 get object. So we're going to do object remove, and we're basically going to do this for when, let's say, a user uploads a new image to an S3 bucket, and we can limit that to like a .jpeg file or something like that. So we can say object created to the images folder and .jpeg, and we're going to go ahead and enable the trigger. Now this is basically the code that's pre-configured for this type of function, so we can call it whatever we want, my test function. And you could replace all of this with your own code inside of here.
You could also pick which language you're using, so by default it's Node.
Yeah, but they've also got support for these.
Yeah.
And you also don't have to do it inline, so you can upload a zip file.
Yeah, you can
too.
upload your own code.
Yeah.
And we're just going to leave this to the default to give us some logging info about what triggered and what got uploaded. It's going to go ahead and go down, add a role, just call it role. That should be good.
Role already exists.
Role 2. Good naming conventions. Alright. While that's creating, we're going to go over to the S3 bucket and make the folder called images. Images. Go into there, and then if this is done, we should just be able to upload an image. Let's add a picture of Joe from our Syntonic.io website, and go ahead and upload that. And once that's done, that code is going to execute. And keep in mind, this is with Lambda, so there's not a server running. The only time any code is executing is after it gets triggered.
And then it dies.
And then it dies.
Spins down.
So if we go over to the logs, then we should be able to see my test function, log streams, and there we go. We print it out. We build for 1100 milliseconds, and that's it. So there's a lot of stuff you could do with this. It's pretty limitless in the applications, cool. I'd say. It's really, really cool technology. Yeah.
Alright, so next we're going to go over our Firestream app a little bit.
Yeah, so if you don't remember, Firestream is our app that basically is a way to create playlists for music with your friends, currently through Spotify, and we're going to go through a use case for that right now. So let's say I'm going to host a party at my house, and I'm going to invite my friends, and I want them to be able to collaborate on my playlist and suggest some songs and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and go open up my Firestream app, add a party, and I'm going to say my house, and I'm going to say create. And so this is pretty cool. This is our way of basically helping you build a playlist if you don't already have one in Spotify. So basically you can mix up to 5 genres, artists, or tracks to create your own unique playlist for the party. So let's go with genre, and we're going to say jazz. And then we'll add artist, and we're going to say Miles Davis. And we're just going to hit create. So this will create a new party and immediately start playing some music, and so we're going to walk through some of that. So basically, if you're hosting, you've got full control of the music, so you can previous, next, pause, play. You can also reorder your music by dragging. You can search for songs.
You can scrub through the progress.
Yeah, you can scrub through the progress. So you and your friends can go also to this plus button and add a new song. So let's search for Johnny Hartman. And let's add a song, and this will basically add it to the end of our playlist. So if your friends do that, you can come up here, and basically by default, any songs that your friends add will automatically go into the playlist. But you can always change that to notify you to say, yes, I'm going to accept this song or reject this other song. So you can save like that. And that's pretty much all the base functionality. You've also got this party code and a QR code here, which is how your friends are able to join your party. So back at this home screen, they can enter it up here, or just use a QR scanner and scan it and click the link. That's pretty much it for the demo.
Alright guys, next thing we're going to be looking at is tech in the news. Just stuff that you might have missed from the 2017 CES. First thing we'll be looking at is the Asus 4K monitor.
Yeah, so this thing is kind of ridiculous. This is kind of my dream monitor, actually. It's 144 hertz, 4K, G-Sync, and I believe it's IPS.
It's IPS.
Yeah.
It's almost the end game for now.
Yeah. It's pretty ballin'.
And it's not overly expensive.
It's pretty expensive. How much did they say? I don't know if they gave an actual price, but I've seen 1,200 out there.
Yeah, 1,200 I think was the prediction, which isn't all that bad compared to what the 5K monitor, or no. Yeah, I think the 5K monitors are.
Well, so this is in
2,000.
This is in this is like their ROG series of Asus, and the monitors they have out for this are pretty darn expensive. They range from like 400 to 900 or something like that. They're pretty high-end, expensive monitors. They're nice. This thing looks kind of ridiculous. It's got this LED light underneath it because everything needs to be LED RGB. But luckily you can turn.
Probably the worst thing are the large bezels.
Yeah, it's not awful though. They're all right.
For something that's only 27 inches, I feel like I'd want more than one. And the bezels are a little too thick for that.
Other than the weird looking stand, I like the frame of this. It's
it looks clean.
Yeah. Alright, so next thing we want to talk about, I think is pretty neat. This was on Kickstarter a few months ago, and this is the DOS Keyboard 5Q, which they're branding as the Cloud Connected Keyboard. And this was on Kickstarter back in June, I think, and it's supposed to come out this month. It's still on pre-order on their site. And basically what it is it is connected to the cloud. So basically you can have it synced up through a bunch of different, I don't know, like...
There's like if this and that.
Yeah.
A bunch of different, like...
You could probably, you need to use Lambda with it?
You might be able to use Lambda.
Yeah.
You probably have to make
it's a bunch of Internet of Things APIs that are out there.
So, I don't know, they give some basic ideas of what you could use with it, and basically when events happen in real life, let's say you get a notification or a new email, you can trigger that to light up keys on your keyboard, have them like flash, or just you could have it display like numbers 1 through 9 for like a graph or something. That's one of the examples they give.
Yeah, here's some of the stuff. So like they have some broken links or their performance of a product that they're developing. You can have this stuff just show up on your keyboard instead of
and I think
having a dashboard.
This is going to be pretty cool as a developer because you could sync it up to a bunch of stuff. You could have it up for like automatic deployment or like continuous integration. Let's say a build fails. All right, well let's say I'm going to have my 9 key flash red at me or something like that for a certain project. I don't know, it seems a little bit gimmicky, but I think there is some potential for this. And the cool thing is that it's open. You can program like on their API and hook it up to basically whatever you want.
It's gotten a decent amount of hate against, for one thing, DOS keyboard used to be the minimal keyboard, and now it's probably one of the most over-the-top keyboards.
And this thing's pretty expensive. It wasn't bad during the Kickstarter, but now it's gonna retail at $229.
Yeah, I think $229.
Yeah, $229, which is not cheap for a mechanical keyboard. You can get them out there for like 100, maybe 150. If
How much is what is that, Steel Series? I think they make the most expensive RGB right now. I think it's like $189.
Some of the Corsairs are pretty expensive as well.
Yeah, probably. What is it, the
K9? They just came out with the K95 Platinum. I think that's still in pre-order.
That'll probably be about
keyboards
the same price
are
as
getting
this.
kind of crazy. I don't know, but I'm excited for this. I'm thinking about buying one for myself.
Maybe eventually.
Yeah.
It looks pretty cool.
Yeah. I feel like this is actual innovation in a couple ways.
Instead of just having fancy lights, they have some
the lights
functionality.
actually do something.
Or they can do whatever you program it to do.
Right. So it is a bit gimmicky, but I don't know, it is neat. The last thing I want to talk about is Intel's new i3 for Kaby Lake. So this is the i3 7350K, and it's the first i3 that's unlocked, so overclockable, which is pretty cool. It is pretty expensive, $180 in US dollars. This one's $180, which is not cheap. I would expect it to be a little bit less, but it is decently powerful. We've got a couple graphs for you. So yeah, the single core scores are pretty darn good. So this thing has 2 cores, 4 threads. The base clock is 4.2 gigahertz, and then people have been overclocking them to 5.
Wow.
Which is pretty insane for an i3. But yeah, that good base clock is pushing it. So that's nice. Couple like gaming benchmarks. Obviously, you're gonna get bottlenecked by this type of CPU. So Battlefield 1 with an XP, Titan XP. If you have a Titan XP, I don't know why you would buy this, but you're not gonna see sub 60, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. You could just buy an XP and then buy this thing, and then you'd be set, right?
You can also get some i5s for what, 200? I think the newest i5 retails at 239.
Yeah, there's also the previous gen, the 6500K.
Yeah, the 6500K, which I think
is like it's 189, I think.
Okay, so $10 more.
Yeah, plus or minus same price range, and it's comparable, and you've got 4 actual cores in that.
Yeah.
Same number of threads.
We'll see which one ends up being more worth it. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I think this is cool, but I don't know. I feel like some of the other lower end AMD processors are.
I think if Intel is trying to target some cheaper chips by making them unlocked, I think they could lower the price of it, and then it would be extremely worth it.
Yeah. All right, so I think that about does it for this episode of the Syntonic podcast. So we will catch you guys in the next one.